Start the recording. So good evening everybody. Today we are going to talk about what diversification is, and mainly this is going to be in the context of making money, diversification, and how you can use different forms of asset to make money. Okay. Imagine that you buy 30 eggs. Let's have some good participation in that. And you have two options. You want to carry it in one large bag, or you would like to distribute them into smaller bags. Can I have an answer? What do you think is a good idea? Yes, anybody? Somebody's chatting.
Yeah, you would like to spread it, right?
Okay, any reason why? Vidya, please help me with the chat because I cannot see the chat when I'm sharing the screen. So ideally, you would like to spread it. The reason being, if you carry it in one large bag, there is a very high risk of damage, right? If you split them into smaller bags, it's easy to transport. There is less risk of damage. It's a very simple way of talking about diversification, right? Now, when we talk about diversification, as I said, we are talking about in terms about making money. And diversification is basically, in this case, multiple forms of income, right? Generating, having multiple forms of income. Now, before we go into what are the multiple forms of income, the question to ask is, what are the benefits of having multiple sources of income? For example, somebody is having a job, is very happy. He would think, why do I need to have more sources of income? I'm happy with this. My day-to-day routine is going on. So let's see the different reasons why you should have different forms of income. The first one is achieving financial independence. You don't need to read through this. I'll talk about it. So the main objective is to able to answer yes to the question, if I were not present, would my company still generate money? Right? If I'm a business person. Or if I stop going to my job, will I still be able to do the things I enjoy doing? Enjoy doing as in having the same lifestyle, doing whatever was when I was getting a salary. And that's an excellent indication of whether or not you are financially independent. So financially independence doesn't mean retiring and sitting at home. It is the power to do what you want without worrying about without really worrying about finances, where your next paycheck will come from. Greater stability and safety. It is also important for entrepreneurs to yes, ambitious attitude and seek new sources of growth. Okay? Having multiple sources of income can decrease your risk of losing it all. So a lot of times people have just one business, they put everything into that business and that is their only source. So nothing like this pandemic shows us better, where there are restaurant owners who would have put everything into that, or hotel industry, because it's a very income guzzling machine. You have to keep on generating income. But if that was your only source, at this point, you would have been without any income. So when you have different sources of income, that worry is reduced, saying that I have to rely on only this business. Scaling faster. So you must have heard this expression, wealth begets wealth. What it basically means is, unless you have money, you cannot create more money, right? I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I got so many expenses, I can never invest or I can never grow it. Believe me, these people unfortunately will never ever become wealthy because of the cycle they are in. Either they have too many EMIs to pay off, or they don't even think that it is important for me to grow my wealth. So higher money and income will attract more money and having a better and get a better return on investment, right? It allows you to also invest in both your primary company and any other sources of income that you have. In short, you will be able to scale faster because it's a cycle. You make money here, you make money there, you use it interchangeably, and both grow simultaneously, both or more than that. The most important is living your dream life. So everyone wants a dream life. Everyone has his passion. They think, I want to pursue this, I want to do, but not everybody can do that. We always have one milestone or the other. Okay. We wait till we are 30, 40, then we figure out, oh, we have to plan for our children's education. Oh, we are 50, we are 60. Now we have to plan for our retirement. So you never get out of the cycle. But so we have a lot of young children, young kids also here. Siddharth is there, Aditya is there. So you all know that if you are smart and if you manage more than one source of income, you have a good chance of creating a dream life that you want, right? You can decide then what you want to do with your time. Either use it for personal development, either go building additional sources of income if that's your passion, or you may want to shut down everything and just travel the world. Allows you to do that, right?
ते पण 1-2 महिने झाले असेल त्याला.
नाही आता तिसरा जो आहे ना
Okay, somebody chatting away.
आणि हा पोस्ट सेशनचा
When we talk about multiple sources of income, right? What we talk about is, we talk about 7 income streams for millionaires. Why do I call it as millionaires? Mainly because billionaires who are successful millionaires believe in this. You talk about Warren Buffett, you talk about Bill Gates, anybody, even in India, Mukesh Ambani, if you see, all these guys have multiple sources of income streams. So now we want to learn what are these sources? How can we generate them? Right? Very simple, 7 sources of income. When you sit down, when you start working, you need to figure out how can I increase this step by step? How can I make sure that I get multiple sources of income? This is going to change your lives once you get this idea. So we'll see each one of them and you guys are going to help me. Earned income or salary. What do you mean by that? So we'll have questions. Let's see how much of you already know. What do you mean by earned income or salary? Anybody? Use a chat. Vidya, help me with the chat. Or please unmute yourself and talk about it. Anybody? What do you mean by salary as an income? Hello?
What you get at the end of the month, no? Your job.
Correct.
Bread and butter.
Bread and butter, right? So what you earn. So let's see, this is the most important income for everybody, right? Earned income is the money that you earn by doing something or by spending your time. The money that you make in your job, the salary that you get by working for someone else. Now, this is where your quality of life also suffers up to the most because you're trading your time for money. This is not passive money, this is active money. They just pay you enough to stay over broke or just over broke, right? Not always this is the case, but this is the reason a lot of people are in a comfort zone saying that, okay, I have got enough, I don't need more. And this probably will become your biggest enemy and keep you away from leading an extraordinary life. You will spend the maximum time of your life in this income stream and still have never enough money to lead a truly wealthy life unless you follow unless you generate other forms of income. So I know a lot of salaried people also who are extremely wealthy because using this income, they have created multiple sources of income. They don't just end up spending this to earn to get into more liabilities. In fact, they earn assets with this. Okay, this is the first one. Anybody can tell what a profit income is? What do you mean by profit income? This is very simple, profit loss. You buy something and you sell something, right? So the money that you earn by selling something for more than it costs you to make, businesses that sell their goods at a profit, whether at a retail or a wholesale level, or distributors, manufacturers. So you need to be an entrepreneur for earning profits. Like you have a business where you make something and sell it at a higher price. This is another form of income that you can make. So either you fall in maybe the first category or the second category. Interesting forms of income. Interest income. Can anyone tell me what this is? Come on guys, this is the simplest form of income. What do we mean by interest income? Siddharth? Maithili? Geeta?
Bank deposits.
Brilliant. Anybody else?
Yeah, you invest something somewhere like mainly banks
Deposit,
and then
yeah.
on
Bank,
whatever interest.
Whatever, yeah.
Correct. Banks, any interest that you get from your FDs. So interest income is the money that you get as a result of lending your money to someone else to use. So putting in the bank, lending it to the government in the form of buying bills. So this is a great source of passive income where your active involvement is not needed. Once the investment. So this is probably the easiest and the best way, and this can beat the first two sources of income generation hands down. Let us see how. 3 crores and you put it in an instrument that gives you 5% interest. It will give you 20 lakhs per year for the next 26 years. Right? That is the problem is you need to have so much money. You need to have 3 crores that you can just put in and sit back and get interest out of it. So that's why money creates more money. Somebody is talking away. Let me see if I can shut them. Okay. Okay, so that's why this is the probably one of the easiest form of interest income is the easiest form of passive income. Now let's go on to see the next one, dividend income. So a lot of people who will know dividend income if they invest in shares. Do we have anyone who does that? This income even gets better than interest income. It is equally passive, and not only that, it also makes you a shareholder of a company, right? This is when we own equity shares in the company. For example, ITC, it gives you around 4% of dividend. So you don't need to do anything. You just buy this company and sit back every month an amount gets into your bank account. This is because of the shares that you of a company that you own. And you get it quarterly, annually, and some of them are very good dividends. So not only does your share price increase over the years, every year you get a dividend income also. In fact, a lot of people just live off this dividend income because of the massive amount of shares that they have created. Rental income. Now this is interesting. I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of Indians do have rental income. So it shouldn't be surprising that this should be an easy answer. Anybody? What do you mean by a rental income?
You own some property, you give it on rent.
Brilliant. As I said, easy question. So this is what you get as a result of renting out an asset that you have, like a house or a building. So this is income better because you get much more out of it, but there are a lot of drawbacks compared to the other 4 incomes. One of the biggest drawback is the amount of money that you need to create such an asset, right? So, for example, I can start a monthly SIP or put in a bank easily 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 10,000, 50,000. But to have something like a rental, you need to put in a lot of lakhs of rupees. You need to maybe buy a 60 lakh residential property or a crore rupees of commercial property. So slowly and steadily, you usually will get there. But this is also an important aspect, rental income. Again, it's very illiquid, right? It's very difficult to liquefy this asset quickly in times of need. You need to see how the market is, and you can't pop off half of it. You have to go all of it. Even if you need 15-20 lakhs and you are sitting on a property worth a crore of rupees, you have to remove the entire property to get even 10-15 lakhs out of it. And the other one is capital gains. Can we do we know what capital gains are? This is the money that you get as a result of increasing value of an asset that you own. For example, the shares that we buy. Say I bought some kind of shares 5 years back or even a year back. For example, a lot of people are making a killing now. A lot of people bought tons of shares in March when the market crashed. Now it's 40, 50%, 30% up. Some of the companies are 50% up and they sold it. So that is your capital gains. Or if you buy a house for 20 lakhs and sell it maybe 20, 30 years down the line for a few crores, then that whole difference is your capital gain. So there is a totally different tax angle to it, which is separate. But this is another form of income. when you buy these assets and sell them down the line, that what money you get is called capital gains. The last one is royalty income. Can anyone tell me what a royalty income is? This is probably one of the most difficult ones to
get
Yes, yes, please.
authors get that money, right? Royalty income.
Correct, correct. Brilliant, brilliant.
Artists, you
Artists,
create something
yes,
and somebody else uses what you created.
brilliant.
They have to pay.
Correct, correct. This is the money you get a result of letting someone use your products, ideas, or processes, right? They make all the revenues, they do all the hard work, and you get a small percentage of whatever they earn. But it's very difficult creating this. For example, creating a franchise, Subway, Monjini's Cakes. Once you have all these rules in place, all you can sit back and get the royalty. If you're a writer, as said by Siddharth, you get paid for every copy of the book sold. And Maithili, as you said, in addition to artists, then there are songs, music, even jingles, right? People live off these forever. Even, but the biggest challenge here is to create something unique and then make it repeatable. So this is but once you have got it right, that income is forever, and it's not a small piece. So now we come, how do we diversify? Now you came to know the different forms of diversification. You came to know why diversification is important, right? It's basically done by creating your assets into, by creating different asset classes. It can be fixed income, it can be cash. So based on our time horizon, we decide these different factors. Based on our age horizon, we decide. So it mainly depends on the time, the risk that you're willing to take, and based on your current situation. That is how you figure out how I need to diversify. The younger you are, the more risk you can take because you have time on your side. And slowly, as and when you grow your assets, you can get into multiple streams of income. Asset class is a grouping of investment that exhibits similar characteristics and are subject to the same laws and regulations. So these are the big ones. So we will just quickly touch base on each one of them, and later in further sessions, we'll be digging down deep inside into them. You have your property, you have your commodities, bonds, cash, and equities, right? So let's see what these are. Can anyone tell me what equity, shares, stocks, they are all go by the same name? Can you guys tell me what it is? What do you mean by equity, shares, stocks?
So owning a part of a company.
Correct. Correct. Very nice. Equity is worth of a company. Value of equity is a stake in a business, right? So you can have ownership stake, venture capital, public investment. So mainly we will talk about public ownership stake, where you buy shares, invest in a company. Investing in companies and real estate, return from annual dividend. So this is the main source of finance for a public company, giving investors the right to vote, share profits, and claim on any assets that they have. Okay. So let's see what this investment falls into. So here we have the following advantages, like dividend, so here you cover two sources of income exactly. You get your dividend, you get your capital gain, you have limited liability, you can exercise control. If you have a large stake in that company, you get to vote, you get bonus shares. When the stock splits, you get multiple, and it's very easy to sell. Whenever you want to sell, you can sell. The disadvantage is dividend is not fixed. You can't rely on that as a salary. Basically, it's very risky. Depending on what company you end up buying, you have so the risk with the associated stocks are, you are cyclical as well as non-cyclical. It will go up and down based on market also, and if it's in a particular sector, that sector is not doing good, for example infrastructure, then that stock can suffer. Next we come to property, basically. So what does property do? It gives you rental income, and also when you sell it, you can get capital gains out of it. So basically, it's I'll just quickly read through this. What it does, it mainly is what you purchase with the intention to receive a return, okay, not the house that you're staying in. As we previously spoke, a house that you're staying in, you get a return only once you sell it, right? So it builds equity over time. As prices usually in India at least, it's have been always increasing or has been stable. And people like real estate because it's more tangible. You can actually feel it. It is less risky in some ways than stocks, but it needs a huge investment. It can provide you a regular cash flow also. So, but the main reasons what you need to consider, it's not as easy as I have a property, I have rented it out and I'm going to make money. You need to buy insurance over that. You need to have hands-on, or you need to keep a property manager over that. You need to pay taxes on time. You need to make sure the person who are there, they are not creating a nuisance. Rent collection is there. So all these headaches come along with being a landlord. See, these are the advantages and disadvantages. It decreases volatility, stability of on your investment. Capital growth is there over a period of time. There's a potential to earn rental income, and you can get a lot of tax deductions also. For example, if you are bought it on an EMI, you get deduction on your interest that you pay, even on the principal that you pay. The disadvantage is it has to be maintained, right? You need to pay your EMIs, you need to keep on maintaining the property. It is highly illiquid. You cannot sell it whenever you want to sell it. High entry costs and exit costs, stamp duty, legal fees, broker fees, all those come into play. And in India, it doesn't happen, but in the US, during the mortgage crisis, a lot of people ended up losing value of their houses. It will probably never ever happen in India, but this has happened in the US, where people just left their houses because whatever money they owed the bank, their property ended up being valued less than that. Any questions so far? I'm just going on talking, so please feel free if you have any other questions on this. Feel free to interrupt me, guys. Yeah. Next are bonds. Bonds are issued by governments and corporations when they want to raise money. These are fairly safer. It depends on the interest rate. So basically, the borrower will give you a bond. You will receive interest until the payment term ends, and then you get the principal back, right? So some corporate bonds will give you higher interest than what banks give, because for them it's cheaper to give you a 10% than going out and getting a loan for 15% also. But so this is how the whole lending. Bond investors will lend some money to the bond issuer. After 5 years, they'll get the principal, but plus regular interest also they keep getting. Now here the advantage is that you receive income throughout through interest payments. The main disadvantage is, okay, their return is limited, but on few cases, if companies default, even your principal gets lost, right? Like DSK, the builders that happened, they defaulted on their, so even the principal is stuck, leave alone. So you need to be very sure. You cannot get greedy saying that, oh, I'm getting a 15% rate with this bond, but you need to see which company is giving, how good that company is, will that company survive. Some of the good ones like Reliance bonds, they'll give you 8-9%, but then you know that Reliance is not going to, Reliance Industries is not going to go out of business. And then comes my favorite, mutual funds. Mutual funds is an investment company that takes money from many investors, pools together in one large pot. The fund manager then goes out and buys different shares. So your risk is divided over 20, 30, 40, 50 companies, right? They buy everything. They'll buy, some mutual funds buy stocks, some of them buy bonds, commodities, even real estate. They are a bundle of investments. This is how it works. All their money goes to one pool. The fund manager goes out and buys different companies. Here you can see they bought ITC, they bought Reliance, Tata Steel. So your risk is also divided. This is the whole circle, the way it goes. Here are the limitations and disadvantages. Mutual funds are always subject to market risk. This is what you hear whenever any ad goes through. There is no guarantee of returns. So even over diversifying doesn't mean that you will maximize return. We'll show you how that happens. So selecting the right is also not easy. Even I'll talk about that, right? Last year you see that, oh wow, this kind of asset class mutual fund did great. Let me go and buy that. And I'll show you why that is not really. And sometimes there are unethical practices that may creep in. And then there used to be a lot of fees for mutual funds. There used to be an exit load, entry load. All those have actually come down quite a bit now. So it's become much more cheaper, more investor friendly. This one is commodities. Again, we won't go much because we have further sessions in this. It basically invests in raw materials, agriculture. They invest in precious metals such as gold, silver, energy resources, oil, natural. So people bet. It's called a hedge, saying that, okay, I'm going to I bet that this commodity will go up in price. And then that's how you make money. Even agricultural goods they make. That's for wheat, rice. So these are so it protects you against inflation. It's a hedge against risk. There is again easy liquidity in this. Higher returns are there depending on what you get into. For example, I've seen gold has come up almost 40% this year. So there's no physical delivery in this. It's all on paper when you buy commodities. It's a risky business as always. Okay. The last one is cash. Okay. Can you tell me what cash is?
Sanjay, it will end in 2 minutes.
Okay. I think we should be done in this. So let's talk about cash. Cash investments include money in bank accounts, saving account, fixed deposits. Basically, you get a very low risk but very low return also. It can be considered as a defensive investment during times of volatility. So now we usually say that cash is king, right? Why? Because of the market. What are the examples of cash investment? Cash at home. It used to be no risk, but unfortunately, demonetization has proved that wrong. Savings account, fixed deposits. So these are kind of in a very reliable bank. These are your forms of cash deposits. So this is a chart basically, right? Cash is the lowest risk, bonds, real estate, commodities, and then comes your stocks. So your risk is divided like that. Less than a minute, guys. Let's join in back here. I won't take more than 10-15 minutes, but please join in again. Okay? It's going to end. Join in the same one. Thank you.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so we were talking about risk and return for assets. So as you can see, stocks is the highest when it comes to basically when we talk about risk. But see the returns over time. Your cash will not give you that kind of a return, even if you put it for 15-20 years. Bonds will give you a very decent return. Bonds can be equated to your PPF, your fixed deposit. So sometimes they'll give you anywhere between 10%, 12%, but equities will give you very good return, anywhere between the 12 to 15, 18% return. If you know good about share, they can give you more than, we hear about 100 baggers where they're given 100 times their values, but it's a whole different ball game. Now winners rotate, right? When I told you about share, how risky even mutual funds can be, or any kind of investment. Take a look at 2019, the last year, international stocks gave a 27% return. Gold gave 18. Large cap gave 1265. Large cap is the top 100 companies of India, mutual funds. Government bonds gave 12%. Go to the bottom, last two, the middle cap, that is your companies from 100 to 250. And the ones post that, small cap, they are in negative. This year they were even in more negative. Last year they were minus 23, minus 30. But take a look at 2017. In 2017, small caps gave you 60% return. Mid caps gave you 48. So what happened is people got greedy. 2018, everybody started putting money over there, thinking that yes, it's growing, let's make some good profit. It's still down. It takes about a 6-7 year cycle. Take a look at real estate. 2011, it gave you a 17% return. 2012 also it gave you a good return. And then slowly it kind of staggers. So if you go take a look, last 3 years, there would be the same consistent winner, right? So that is why diversification is important. You can't put all your eggs in one basket and think that, okay, this is going to make me money. So diversifying in different percentages based on your age, based on your goal, you can make a lot of money all the time. So to conclude, what to do to minimize risk? You spread out and have different forms of income which are tied to a certain goal, certain whatever your lifetime goals are. It can be retirement, children's education, but that's why having multiple forms of income is always very important. And that's about me. Take a picture or I'll send you this recording and we can chat now. So let me just stop the screen share so I can see your faces. Yeah. So thank you very much for attending this session on diversification. So I'm glad Mr. Sham is there. I hope that he saw this session. So it will make my work easier when I talk to you. So any questions, anybody on this? Anything about what we spoke about diversification? So before we end, thank you. Nabaz here. She's helping with the presentation. Thanks Vidya for managing the chats and also for the on and off that happened in between. So we will have future sessions also very soon. I will talk about more about what mutual funds are, how to invest in mutual funds. So the earlier you start, it becomes much easier for you. You have a lot of time to invest. It reduces your risk also. Okay. Any questions before we end the session? You can use chat or you can use the chat screen or you can type, unmute yourself and say what you want to say. So let's end the session here. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Hope it was
Yes.
your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Siddharth. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Thanks, Charlie. Good to see you,
Yes.
Asha, Amit.
Bye-bye.
Nisha.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, Maithili.
Thanks, Sanjay.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, bye-bye.
Let's become millionaires now.
Bye.